The food you eat profoundly affects how your skin looks today and how it will look in years to come. But as I've said before, that is a good thing because it means you have the power to enhance your skin at least 3 times a day or every time you eat. In the last video, we covered what to eat in your 20s and 30s to achieve great skin. Today, we're going to cover your 40s. Now, I had planned to cover your 50s and beyond in this video too, but I found I had too much to say, so we'll cover those decades in a separate video. But as you'll discover, there's a lot going on in your 40s and there's also a lot you can do to help. So a quick hello if you're new here. My name is Fiona and I'm a registered nutritionist with a master's degree in nutritional medicine. On this channel, we talk about how to eat for great skin because true skincare starts on your plate. If you haven't already, please consider hitting the subscribe button because it really helps the channel. Now, before we get into this, let me say that these principles are designed to have a cumulative effect. So if you haven't already, go back and watch the first video, even if your 20s feel like a distant memory. If you've already watched that, settle in, because we're going to dial down on how you can promote age-defying skin that you're proud of in your 40s. So to set the scene, your 40s are the decade where your skin really starts changing. Your collagen production is plummeting, especially if you're a woman, which means your skin can feel just a bit more lax and unforgiving. What you might notice is things like pillow marks are a lot more obvious in the morning, and those fine lines and wrinkles just can no longer be ignored. This decade is also when people notice their skin is a bit drier, which can leave it looking dull. But again, we can address all of this through food. So your first principle to fight back is to embrace healthy fat. Now, if you're in your 40s, you will remember the diet culture that made us all fear fat, and it likely still informs how you eat today. But it turns out all those low-fat products did very little for our health, and they certainly did no favors for our skin. Your skin needs fat. It helps keep it smooth, it helps create a strong skin barrier, and as part of that, it helps your skin to hold water in, which ultimately leaves it looking more plump. And it really works. One study showed that when women supplemented with flaxseed oil for 12 weeks, their skin's hydration was boosted by 40%. Now, to put that in perspective, a typical moisturizer will boost your skin's hydration by about 20 to 25% when you put it on your skin. It's most powerful right after application, but then the effects diminish as the hours pass. So fats kind of act like a moisturizer from the inside out. And another study showed that when men and women took evening primrose oil, which is full of healthy omega-6 fats, within 3 months their skin was firmer, smoother, and their skin barriers were much stronger. Now, clinical trials often use supplements simply because they're much easier to quantify and control. But you can get ample healthy fats in your diet through food alone. Some of the best foods to eat include whole, natural nuts and seeds. Things like almonds and pecans and walnuts and pumpkin seeds and ground flaxseed. These are rich in those healthy omega-6 fats which really build up a strong skin barrier. Now, as an aside, you might have heard that omega-6 fats are pro-inflammatory. There are so many confusing messages out there around this. What you need to know is that eating excess omega-6 fats through processed seed oils probably isn't great for you or your skin. But eating them in their unadulterated form in whole nuts and seeds is fantastic for you and your skin. So aim for a couple of handfuls of nuts and seeds daily. As I've spoken about before, I will typically have 1 or 2 handfuls of almonds every day, or you can even just add a tablespoon or 2 of ground flaxseed to whatever you're already eating. That is just so easy and so simple and so good for your skin, and I talk more about that in this video. For your skin, focus on nuts and seeds first because they are most abundant in the type of healthy fat that your skin really needs in your 40s. Then dial up your intake of oily fish, which has an anti-inflammatory effect, and then go to things like extra virgin olive oil and avocados, which have a gentle anti-aging effect. And if you're worried about nuts and seeds being calorific, you should know that research consistently shows that people who eat more nuts and seeds tend to maintain lower body weights as the years go on. And that's probably because nuts and seeds are filling and satisfying. Right, before we move on to the second principle, let me just say that if you're interested in this concept of leveraging food as skincare, you should download my free guide, Skincare Starts on Your Plate, the Jumpstart Guide. You can find it at my website, FionaLawsonNutrition.com. beautynutrition.com, and I will also pop the link in the video description box below for you. Right, your second principle is to try a collagen supplement. So remember how we said collagen production really starts declining in your 40s? Well, now is the time to fight back with a collagen supplement. Research suggests that if you are in your 40s, these supplements can really help to boost your skin's hydration and elasticity, and they may even help to reduce or reverse some of the fine lines and wrinkles you already have. Now, you should know that a lot of these findings come from research that's funded by people who are making collagen supplements. So keep that in mind and remain inquiring if you decide to take them, but I am mentioning them here because they do seem to be one of those supplements that empirically people swear by. So here are 3 tips to get the most out of a collagen supplement. Firstly, choose a supplement that contains type 1 collagen peptides or type 1 hydrolyzed collagen, something like this. These are bits of collagen that have been snipped up, and research suggests that they are much more effective that way. And there are lots of types of collagen in your body, but type 1 is most helpful for your skin. Secondly, you need to take between 2.5 grams and 5 grams daily, because that's the dose that's found to be effective for skin in the research. Now, collagen supplements often come as flavorless, odorless powders that you can add to your food and drinks, and 2.5 to 5 grams is typically a heaped dessert spoon's worth, so it's not much. Thirdly, commit to taking it daily for at least 3 months before you judge whether it's working for you. In some studies, the effects were still shown to be pretty minimal after 2 months, so you don't want to give up too soon. So as I say, I like Bare Biology's Skinful, which is readily available in the UK. Now in the US, I might go for something like Vital Protein's Marine Collagen. And I do find that for skin health, marine collagen, which is collagen that's derived from fish, slightly edges it, but if a good quality grass-fed beef collagen is what you can get your hands on, then go for that. Now there are some vegan collagen blends coming on the market, and these are intriguing, but you should know that they don't yet have this body of research behind them that the animal collagens do. So we don't yet know if they're equally as effective. And lastly, as ever, be safe and make sure you check in with your doctor before you start any new supplements. Right, in terms of what to put on your skin in your 40s, now is the time for a retinoid if you haven't started one already. If you're remotely interested in skincare, which I presume you are if you're watching this video, you'll know that retinoids are a form of vitamin A. They are one of the most evidence-based skincare ingredients, and people typically turn to them because they can reduce fine lines and wrinkles, they can fade dark spots or hyperpigmentation, and they can minimize the appearance of pores and help to clear breakouts. Now, sunscreen is brilliant at preventing aging, but in terms of combating the signs of aging that you already have, you can't do better than a retinoid. There are lots of different forms of retinoids or vitamin A in skincare. Now this one, retinoic acid, is the strongest, and it's only available on prescription in products like tretinoin or Retin-A. Retinol esters and retinols are abundant in skincare that you can get over the counter, and they are much more subtle in their effect, but they're also much less likely to cause irritation. In terms of the strongest option you can get outside of a prescription, you're looking at a retinaldehyde form or a retinal form. These are said to work about 10 times faster than a retinol form, but with much less potential for redness and irritation and peeling and flaking than a retinoic acid form. My favourite is Medicate's Crystal Retinol. Now in this range, they actually encapsulate the retinol to make it even more gentle on your skin. Now this is an investment, but another cost-effective but potent option is the Geek & Gorgeous A-Game. This has a slightly less luxurious feel than the Crystal Retinol, but I think it is equally as effective. Or The Ordinary have recently brought out a 0.2% retinol emulsion, which again is pretty potent stuff. If you're new to retinoids or to vitamin A in your skincare routine, you need to incorporate them slowly. Use them twice a week to begin with, and then 3 times a week, and then 4 times a week, until eventually you work your way up to nightly use. This should take weeks to get there, and that's okay. You should always use retinoids at nighttime because they're sensitive to sunlight, and you should always follow it up with a sunscreen the next day, which we covered in the video on skincare for your 20s. So to recap, in your 40s you want to embrace healthy fat, particularly nuts and seeds. You may want to experiment with a collagen supplement, and you want to use a retinoid in your skincare routine if you haven't started one already. As I say, next time we'll cover skincare for your 50s and beyond, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you for watching until the very end, and I will see you next time for another video on nutritional skincare.